Hi everyone, I'm Jay Monet. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about gatekeeping and publishing, the mess that's happened on Twitter for the last couple of weeks, and what needs to happen to fix this. So usually when you talk about gatekeeping and publishing, you think of editors and publishers, the big five publishing companies especially. But the thing is, they're not the only gatekeepers. For traditional publishing, the first gatekeepers are agents. No editors and publishing houses can see your manuscript before it gets through an agent. For those of you who don't know this, but in order to have someone like Penguin decide if they want to buy your manuscript, it has to be sent to an editor through an agent. In order to be traditionally published, you have to have an agent, which really sucks. Literary agents are still kind of a newer phenomenon. It didn't start being commonplace for traditional publishing until about the 80s, I believe. It used to be common practice for writers to just send their manuscripts straight to editors at publishing companies, but now editors aren't taking unagented manuscripts, so in order to even get to that position where an editor can look at your manuscript, you have to have a literary agent offer you representation and sign. Fortunately, a lot of people, agents included, don't understand that this is a gatekeeping process. This constitutes as a gatekeeping practice because a lot of people can't get agents. There are so many agents, but way more writers. However, if you look at a lot of clients lists from literary agents, they have very white, very cisgendered, heterosexual, very able-bodied, etc. client lists. This has been something discussed a lot, especially during the last 3 years because of, publishing paid me. That was a big thing that happened in 2020. Then you had all these publishers dropping their DEI records, which shows how much they don't care about diversity in their hiring practices, and they still don't. If you check, like Hatchett's and Penguin Random House's DEI reports, it's abysmal and it barely changed. So they clearly still don't care. But that's also a problem lower in the gatekeeping levels when it comes to agents. Most agents are white women, or just white in general. And that's also what's happening in other levels of publishing. So I mentioned that there has been Twitter mess, and I've been in the middle of it for the most part for the last couple of weeks. It started with people taking words that I did not say and put them in my mouth, and it just toppled downhill from there, and it's still going. We have issues of agents shitting on writers, saying that writing is a hobby as opposed to agenting, which is a career. You have agents subtweeting people, not being very professional, despite them telling writers that they need to be professional, but agents can never be held to the same standards for some reason. And then you have writers agreeing with these agents and kissing their asses and making us look like we're bad. It's ridiculous. You have agencies dropping agents with client lists being completely let go as well, especially including writers who currently have deals, and these writers and these agents are being let go with no warning, and it's so sudden and it's unfair to them. So there's a lot that's been going on. You got agents being mad that writers are making do not query or DNQ lists to protect ourselves and each other, because there are all these agents with bad faith agenting practices. They have you have writers who want to work with someone who has similar beliefs to them, and you have to know these people's beliefs, their politics, and then you have agents who are mad that people don't want to work with them for these certain reasons, and it's totally valid for us to choose who we want to based on our own beliefs. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you have agents being mad about that, and it's just like, you have agents who just don't understand that, well, either they don't understand or they don't care that they are gatekeepers And they are like, well, the publishing industry also isn't great to us, but it's like still, you're still at a higher level in this industry than we are. You have more going for you than we do. You guys make the decisions. You guys get to choose who gets their manuscripts sent to editors in the first place. And that's what makes you gatekeepers. The whole industry is a mess. It's full of gatekeepers and people who are below them who, instead of wanting to make things better, they just want to support the people who make it harder for the rest of us to even get a toe in, let alone a foot. And honestly, it's ridiculous. Like, publishing can't change if gatekeepers won't accept that they're at fault and that they are gatekeepers, and they have to actually actively try to make things better. Writers and agents can easily work together to make things better and to push the higher ups in publishing to be more inclusive, to actually really care about diversity. But until agents actually want to care and they get their colleagues to care and they check their colleagues or get their colleagues together, they gather them instead of always being quiet or just silently liking tweets, nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna get better. You need to hold each other accountable. There shouldn't have been 2 weeks of writers like myself calling out these people for their behavior, their actions, their gatekeeping practices, the fact that they put themselves on such a high pedestal and they're in charge of people's careers with like little care of these people that they're supposed to be working for. Writers aren't working for you, you're working for writers. You're supposed to be working on behalf of writers. You're supposed to have writers' backs. So how do you expect to have writers' backs if you're acting like writers are beneath you? You say, I really like your manuscript, but I don't think I can champion it. I don't think I can accurately market this. That makes no sense. Your job is to market, and you're asking for specific manuscripts. If these manuscripts are good, but because the plot is something you don't like, despite anything, if the whole thing is that you're not a fan of the plot, the writing is good, the storytelling is good, there's no reason why you have to sit there and say, I'm rejecting it because I can't market it and it's not something that I like. It should not be about your personal preferences. It should not be about what you want in your personal library. That's not what this is about. That's why we have all these books that are similar, all these books that are marketed incorrectly, these books that come out that clearly had not that much thought put into them, books that are way too long, longer than they need to be. It's partly why we have a paper shortage. There's no reason why all these things are happening because you weren't doing your job. Your job is not to pick books based on what you want to personally read. That's not your job at all. This is not about you, and this is exactly why diversity is an issue, because it's not just the editors who fail to pick up these manuscripts from marginalized voices. Agents aren't even choosing manuscripts from marginalized voices in the first place. So we can't get to that point if they're not getting picked up at point A. How are you supposed to get to point B in the first place? Because point A is not at the editors. Point A is at the agents who choose who actually gets the representation, who actually gets to have their book possibly sold. Agents keep finding themselves being like the determiners of creativity. They make all these threads saying your inciting incident should go here and not anywhere else. You have to have all this certain amount of words. It can't be too low or you're automatically rejected. You have to have this story structure or else your book's not written correctly. That's not gonna fly, okay? Kelly, you don't read that many books outside of a certain small bowl because storytelling varies depending on the demographic of the writer. Like Black stories are told differently, Latinx stories are told differently, Indigenous stories are told differently. This specific story structure thing that y'all got that you say has to be how your manuscript's written? No. That's a problem. Most people are not gonna write their books like that, and telling them that they have to revise their book so it works the way you want it written, that's a problem. We're not gonna do that no more. Stop it. Agents need to understand that they're not in charge of how your book is written. I'm saying this to writers and agents. Write the book that you want to write. Do not think that it's supposed to be written in a certain structural way. Your inciting incident does not need to be during the first 10 pages. If that's not how your book is going, that's not how your story is going, do not do that. Don't listen to them. Just because they say it's something doesn't mean it's law. Too many agents are saying that the way that they want a book to be written is law, and that's a problem. That's a gatekeeping practice. We gotta stop that. At the end of the day, it's just, there are easy things to work on to make it so that writers and agents are on a more equal level. But it's on agents to understand that they're gatekeepers, and they need to work on that. And they need to not only work on it with themselves, but with each other, because this is a whole general issue for agenting, and too many agents are so worried about how they're perceived in the industry, and they're too busy like trying to seem like they're these cool people and that they're better than us and they have to look a certain way. Like, no, y'all need to call each other out. You need to fix this. You need to hold each other accountable. Writers right now are just like, you know what, I'm taking all these people off my query list. I'm rethinking who I'm querying. I might just say fuck it and go self-publish because of how this barrier in publishing is just making it so hard to even enjoy working on the craft, because you have agents not doing their jobs, not being professional, and not being helpful for writers at all. Long story short, agents need to do better. They need to do better. Publishing can't get better when the people at the first hoop are making it so damn hard to get to that second step. You got agents telling writers to spend money on editing. No, you should not be doing that. You have agents dropping writers because they want to self-publish one of their books to just get something out and then try to sell a second book. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're in charge of someone's career, and that's negligent. At the end of the day, I'm not hating on all agents, but I just want agents to get it through their heads that they need to do better. And they should actually work to do better, because these last couple of weeks on social media have been ridiculous. Behavior has been ridiculous. The lack of accountability has been ridiculous, and I'm over it. I'm sick of it, honestly. I'm tired of it. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and rant because something needs to be done. Not enough people are really saying anything about it. Like, I tried to get into agenting, but it's kind of hard because they also have odd hiring practices for like internships and to be an assistant for an agent and that hasn't worked out, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, thank you for checking out this video. Stay tuned for the next video where I'll be talking about a little thing I'm going to be doing on my channel soon. Alright, until next time, bye.